Welcome, everyone. My name is Mike Toth, and we're going to be doing a Bible study of the book of Isaiah. About the same time that I'm doing this Bible study, I will be doing a detailed line-by-line, verse-by-verse study of the book of Revelations. But in the book of Isaiah, I am more intent on doing a thorough Bible study, but I will not read every single verse, because what I'm trying to do here is to give a great overview of the book and the specific prophecies and things that he said to even us today that prove out the work of God. Because Isaiah, he covers so much ground. He covers the fall of Israel. He covers the fall later on of Judah. He covers the captivity from under Assyria. And he covers the judgment on Assyria by Babylon, a nation that didn't even exist. He prophesies of the virgin birth of Jesus Christ, the place. And he prophesies of the death of Jesus Christ in detail, of how he was put to death. If you want, just take a peek at Isaiah 53 and see the details of the prophecies there. And then he prophesies the millennial kingdom, and there are so many things that I am forgetting, because I did this Bible study for myself back in 2018, line by line, verse by verse. As I started to study it again earlier in 2021, I discovered how many things that I forgot, and how many of these things need to be really remembered. So that's why I'm doing a more condensed Bible study, so I can cover it quickly and remember the things that God did and bless you with it, because it is going to increase your faith when you see all of the prophecies that God foretold that have come to pass. And I know that the whole Bible is perfect. But the proof of the pudding of the whole Bible is in this. They found the Dead Sea Scrolls in 1948, and they found the book of Isaiah almost completely intact. And what did they find? 100% accuracy to the book that we have now. If there was any differences, they were just some kind of a pronoun change or differences because of the language. So we know that the book of Isaiah is whole and complete and without error. Now, I'm just going to give you a brief talk through here to understand what's going on. There's no verses I'm going to read today. This is in verse 1 and chapter 1 if you want to look. But Isaiah prophesies during these kings' reigns in Judah. These are Judah kings. Uriah, 791 to 740 BC. Jotham, 750 to 732 BC, approximately. Ahaz, 736 to 716 BC. And Hezekiah, 725 to 687 BC. He therefore prophesied from 740 to 680. And you notice that's coming down, that number. And the number is coming down because it's approaching what really history is based on, even though they're trying to change it now in academia. But basically, at Christ's birth is the new beginning, and that's where we start counting to 2021. In this, they're counting down to the birth of Jesus Christ, which really divided history. And they can change it to whatever they want. But this is what it's been for those first 2,000 years or so. So he's prophesying to both kingdoms. At this time, the nation of Israel was split. You had Judah and Israel. Judah had some good kings. They had 11 kings during this period, and some of them were good. And Israel had a lot of kings, and none of them were any good. They totally divorced from God. But God did not divorce from them because he made a promise. He made a covenant with them. So this is what we see. And his covenant is, excuse me, He's using Isaiah to tell them what they're doing wrong so they can get right. That's what God's always after. Repent. Come back to me, and I will accept you. So, again, he's prophesying to these two nations to tell them what's going to happen because they were disobedient. And he cries out with his heart for them. And he foresees, as he's talking to them, God, someplace in this book, will tell him, these people aren't going to listen to you. But keep telling them anyway. That is God's heart, to keep telling anyway. You know, Isaiah, with all of the problems he's seen and all these visions and all these woes and happened to his people, saw this at the end of it. Jesus Christ, millennial reign. Jesus is going to come back and reign. And when he does, everything will be made right. So we're going to go through this book, and you're going to see some good things and some really horrid things that are going to happen to a nation and to a world. So until next time, may Jesus increase as we decrease.